Rich Dad, Poor Dad is one of the most read financial books around the world. Some praise the concepts outlined in the book, saying that they learned a lot about personal finance through the key concepts. There have also been critics focusing on specific sections or the book's authenticity. In this video, we will first go through the key highlights of the book, then the good and the bad, and finally to know whether this book would be a good read for people who are looking to understand more about personal finance. Author Robert Kiyosaki contrasts the mindset between his rich dad, a dad of his friend, and his own poor dad. Poor Dad was an educated scholar, while Rich Dad at the time was an entrepreneur. Both men earned substantial incomes. But Poor Dad comparatively struggles a lot on personal finance. By the different sayings of the two, there are a few key highlights that the author has mentioned in this book. Financial literacy was depicted in the book as the foundation of the skyscraper. Getting rich but without a financial literacy background is like building the Empire State Building but with a weak foundation, and they may end up with the Leaning Tower instead. That is because financial literacy helps open up options on how to grow their wealth and, most importantly, how to stay wealthy. To be financial literate, it is important to understand the subject of accounting, and there are a few things that were outlined in the book. Asset was defined as items that generate cash inflow, and liability is the opposite, which are items that will lead to cash outflow. The key to success is simple, which is to continuously buy assets. Below are the demonstrations on how assets and liabilities work. The crucial point is to clearly differentiate between the two. Some may think that your house and car is your biggest asset. Instead, they can be your biggest liability in terms of mortgage and car loans. Hereby are 3 more charts on how the rich compare to the middle class and the poor. The poor and middle class focus on expense and liability but never on assets. Their income will eventually leave their account through expenses or acquiring liabilities. The rich, however, groom on assets. These assets will be like your employees, generating for you passive income, and that will be the path to wealth and success. Financial literacy is the key for you to explore further options in personal finance, but holding a focused and correct mindset is the first step for an individual to change their financial behavior. A few mindset was being outlined in the book. It is important to understand that individuals need money and should care about money. Only with this mindset will individuals start to learn more about finance from experts or through courses and try to understand a bit more of their own issues. People without this mindset will just continue to work on a monthly basis and will continue to struggle on a regular basis. The second mindset is to accept a little greed, as it will be the motivation to push one to be more innovative and successful. Rich Dad in the book prohibits Robert from mentioning the phrase, "I can't afford it." Rather, the saying should be, "How can I afford it?" The new phrase allows your brain to be put to work rather than being mentally lazy. This constant working of the mind helps one to discover opportunities which others can't. The book also states that it is the ability to stay rich, not the ability to get rich, that will take you far. There were countless examples in which an individual wins a lottery, gets rich, and then gets poor again. There were also stories in which professional athletes have been earning millions in their 20s, but are sleeping under a bridge 10 years later because of the cessation of income. The question is not how to get rich, but how to stay rich. And the key, once again, lies within accounting, which was covered earlier. After having most of the ideas and mindsets sorted out, it is most important that one act on these mindsets and thoughts. The book also has 2 chapters, outlining the specific things to work on and how to act on the ideas. Suggestions include finding a role model in finance, such as how Robert idolizes Warren Buffett, Donald Trump, or Peter Lynch. Associate yourself with friends that you may learn from and improve on different aspects. Some more suggested actions on how to start exploring would include taking classes and seminars to learn something interesting, making lots of offers and shopping for bargains in all markets. With these actions being done, that would be a great leap forward for the individual. So with the summary being covered, we may go back to the core question, whether the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a good read. And let me start by mentioning the cons of the book. Throughout the book, Robert focuses on the return that one can gain, but not the risk. Robert even glorifies the term, go broke in a big way. There are lots of scenarios mentioned, like how to turn a $2,000 down payment on a house into a $4,000 yearly rental income in just a few hours, with the use of huge leverage. This may not be the best way to pursue for all people, as individuals have different financial circumstances. The author himself also reveals that he is high in debt and apply high leverage in his investment. Huge caution is therefore needed when reading those instant success stories, and be aware of the risk behind. A lot of the advice is based on the author's experience with real estate investment scenarios, like going out for a jog in the neighborhood and then being able to spot housing opportunities in the neighborhood, then being able to make tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars were depicted. While these scenarios might be true, it can be difficult for an individual investor to enjoy these opportunities, as it may require high expertise, or simply there is a lack of opportunities in the housing market at the time. Therefore, the stories that were mentioned might not be easily duplicated. Still, there are some good points worth taking away from the book. Unlike other finance-related books, Rich Dad Poor Dad uses story-like content. Rich Dad wants to learn about money, but Poor Dad often says, "I don't care about money." Rich Dad is paying himself first by attending courses or lectures. Poor Dad pays himself last and often simply turns his income into expenses. By depicting the contrast between his rich and poor dad, through concrete examples and quotes from the two dads, the book can clearly outline Robert's advice on the road to success. Simply acquire assets, and you will be wealthy. While this might be oversimplified, it does give out hope and can encourage readers by providing them with the drive to learn more about finance and investing. This does eventually help one to get out of the rat race. So this would be my take on the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The book uses an interactive story to state its message and gives the reader the courage to start the journey of managing personal wealth. It is a suitable read for readers just starting on personal finance or just needing a push to embark on the journey of wealth. Caution has to be taken, however, when taking advice, especially when it comes to leverage and risk. The investment method outlined in the book, such as real estate, may also not apply to all the readers. If you are interested in reading the book, please grab one under the link in the description. Feel free to let me know your take on the book, and I will see you in my next video.